Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to DSP versus the Internet, episode 61. This is now part 3, still in the Ultra member submissions for the week. Remember, if you're an Ultra member, we watch your video every week for a whole month, so 4 videos there for being an Ultra supporter, and let's see what's next.
What do you make of these?
These? Seems to be energy resources. But I've never seen this type on Earth. I don't know where this energy came.
My controller would not pause the video, but then it did. So this is supposed to be terrible voice acting. Maybe an 8?
From, but you cannot let it fall into Dr. Wowie's hands.
Why does he sound like? Why does he sound like Elmer Fudd? You notice that? Dr. Light sounds like Elmer Fudd. What is that about?
You must recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man.
But where is Dr. Wily?
That's a good question. We may be able to locate another energy emission from the radar room.
Isn't this... So this is from Mega Man 8? Is that true? So, but wasn't this taken from an anime? I think this was from a legit anime. Right? And then they took the scenes and put them in the game, and then they just, like, quickly slapped together some like, English voice actors. I think that was the story. Like, it wasn't... This isn't, like, a show or anything. This was just, like, something fast. Kind of reminds me of like Power Rangers. How like they slapped stuff together to make Power Rangers this hodgepodge show, and so it just so happens that they had to they just rushed English voice actors and it sucked, right? And why is it like Elmer Fudd? It's so weird. Why is he talking like that?
When we find that meteor, we'll find Dr. Wowie.
We'll find Dr. Wowie. Yeah, that is odd.
A giant wall cuts through an ordinary neighborhood in Belfast.
Really?
25 feet high. On one side, a Catholic population. On the other, a Protestant one.
So they're separated by religion? Yeah, look, a 30-year conflict.
This wall isn't just here because of religious differences. It's here because people on this side of it want Northern Ireland to remain part of the UK. And people on this side want it to be part of a united Ireland. It's cool.
See, I don't know anything about this at all. And this is a 34-minute video. We'll watch a little bit of it. I don't know anything about the Ireland and UK conflict at all. I guess they're separate countries and they disagree on their borders or something?
Called a peace wall, and there are many like it, carving Belfast up, separating neighborhoods that were once at war with each other.
Huh.
Because from 1968
No, I never heard
to
of this.
1998, this was home to some of the most dangerous armed paramilitaries in the world.
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, in Northern Ireland itself, the bombings were setting new records in horror. And an IRA...
I heard of the IRA, but I don't actually know about the conflict or anything, no.
explosives expert received a life sentence for murder.
One you might have heard of, the Irish Republican Army, or IRA, which spent 30 years fighting for a united Ireland. The conflict was called the Troubles, and would see over 3,700 people killed and almost 50,000 injured. We spoke to 2 men who fought on opposing sides. Michael, who joined the IRA in the 70s, and Billy, who joined the Ulster Volunteer Force, or UVF, to fight against the IRA.
I'm Michael Culbert. I was in prison for almost 16 years. I was a life sentence prisoner. I was charged with various IRA-related activities, including killing members of the British forces.
My name is Billy Hutchison. I'm a former loyalist prisoner. I was in prison from 1974 to 1990. I was in for murder.
But before we get into that, you need to know about 2 groups that populate Northern Ireland. Irish nationalists, or Republicans, are those who want the unification of Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. They tend to be Catholics.
See, I know that many of my viewers over the years, you guys are from the UK, right? So you guys know all about this. This is completely me learning right now and trying to absorb. Again, though, it's a 34-minute video on a clip show. So I'll try to listen to as much as I can and absorb as much as I can, but I hope you're not offended that I can't watch the whole video. We won't be doing anything else today if I watch the whole video.
British Unionists, or Loyalists, want Northern Ireland to remain part of the UK, and they tend to be Protestants. So what's behind this divide?
Yeah.
How does
What
it link
caused
to
it?
religion? And why is Northern Ireland part of the UK?
Oh, totally. 90s guy says it sucks. American education doesn't have a good focus on stuff outside of the USA. No one ever taught me about this at all in school. Not at all.
To find that out, we'll need to cover a bit of history. From the 1100s, Britain was attempting to colonise Ireland, and it faced some of the strongest resistance in the northeast, in an area called Ulster. So the British decided they needed to anglicise the region, basically make it more English. And in 1609, they began confiscating land from native Irish residents to give to loyal settlers, who were mostly Protestants from Scotland and northern England. If settlers owned the land, they'd have more control over Ulster. This period was called the Plantation of Ulster. Fast forward to the 1900s, long after Britain had colonised Ireland. The vast majority of people here were Irish Catholics and were heavily discriminated against by Protestant British rulers. In a rejection of British rule in Ireland, the 1918 elections saw an Irish nationalist party that was pushing for independence, called Sinn Féin, win 91% of the seats outside of Ulster. But in Ulster, all those settlers that were given land hundreds of years ago had had families, and over the centuries, their population grew. It was now the only region of Ireland where Protestant Unionists in favour of British rule were in the majority.
So the Catholics are the Irish, the British are the Protestants, and the British Protestants were basically implants. Like they were forced into that country to try to colonize it hundreds of years earlier. Okay.
Winning 4 out of 9 of the counties there. After those elections, rather than taking their seats in Parliament, Sinn Féin decided to form their own separate government and proclaim a new Irish Republic. And they'd formed their own army. This was the birth of the original IRA. So when Britain tried to step in, they fought a war for independence against the UK. To try and put a stop to the fighting, Britain passed the Home Rule Act, which partitioned Ireland into Northern and Southern Ireland. The goal was to keep Ireland in the UK, but create 2 Irish governments, one unionist one in the north and an Irish nationalist one in the south. But this division was rejected by most Irish citizens, and the fighting only stopped when a ceasefire was agreed and the Anglo-Irish Treaty was signed. This agreement created a new country, the Irish Free State, but kept it as part of the British Empire. But this treaty had an opt-out clause for Northern Ireland, and with its unionist majority, within 2 days of the treaty coming into effect, Northern Ireland had declared it would separate from the Irish Free State and rejoin the UK.
So it's just the same problem over and over. Is that they got these implants from England. Or excuse me, it's not England, I should say UK, because I get confused. The terms England and UK don't mean the same thing. You got these implants from the UK living in Ireland, and no matter what, they just don't want to support or be a part of Ireland. They just want to keep saying we're with the UK. So that like the problem never ends.
All this created a huge divide in Irish society.
That must be why they built the
and
wall.
Within the IRA. Between those that were pro-treaty and willing to let Northern Ireland go in return for what they saw as a stepping stone towards total independence from Britain, and those against it, that wanted a united Ireland, independent from the UK. So there was a civil war immediately after the War for Independence, this time between those 2 groups.
Sheesh.
The IRA fought against the treaty, but the pro-treaty side, supported by the British, won. And so Ireland remained partitioned as it is today. But that left a region that was still home to a lot of Catholic Irish nationalists.
So basically what you have is, it's basically its own republic or its own country, Ireland, but then you've got a chunk of it that's UK loyalist and we're part of the UK. This is the problem. If that chunk wasn't there, then there'd be no problem. There'd just be all of Ireland together. but that's what's causing the issue. Okay. All right, now I kind of get it. That was a pretty good summary. That was what? In 6 minutes, he summed that up really well. We'll just do a little bit more because I want to get to the next video, but that was a pretty good summarization.
Inside the UK, living alongside Protestant British Unionists. And so, the problems were far from solved.
You've no concept of the awfulness of what Ireland went through. I mean, we had this thing called the plantation and the settlers in Ireland and the planters in Ireland. That's code talk for theft.
Yeah.
For eviction of people from their homes. How did people live? They starved to death. So, I mean, we were subject to quite horrendous treatment by the Big Island. I think ruling one country should be enough for any country. The British government has set up a false state here in the north of Ireland. So I don't use the term the UK, because the UK would mean legitimising the existence of the northern state.
Huh.
If I was talking about the Big Island, I would talk about Britain, because I see this part of Ireland as being Ireland.
Interesting.
But the actual use of the word the UK acknowledges the existence of the state.
Oh.
And to a degree to a Republican. That's what the conflict was about.
So they refuse to say UK because that is saying that that part of Ireland is actually part of Britain. And he disagrees. So he says Britain is that island, and this part of Ireland that is implanted with British should basically be Ireland. Okay, well, all right. That was fascinating. 7 minutes, I learned a lot. Thank you, whoever submitted that video. That was actually a really good one. I just got an education, and now I know about this situation between Ireland and Britain. Okay, onward. The life of a cinema employee. Okay, we've seen this series before. Eviction notice, great.
Welcome back to the great show.
Wage cinema.
Hey, what's up? How's the day going?
Very bad. It's crowded today. There is a guy that dropped his soda bucket on the floor. I had to clean everything up. I hate this job so much.
Me too. Well, I guess it's time. See you later. Thanks for your payment. Here are your tickets. Enjoy your movie. Thank you. Projection will be on room 6, seat 15B. Wait a minute. These tickets are from last week. This is not valid anymore.
Sorry, we didn't see. Is it possible to watch the movie anyway?
No, sorry. We do not change tickets once showtime has passed. We do not refund them as well. It's written in the terms and conditions.
What's happening here?
This wagey is being rude to us.
Oh, that's great. He's being rude to us because they have tickets from last week, so they lie.
Please be careful at who you hire here.
This is not acceptable, Warjack. We do not endorse this type of behavior.
I can't do this shit anymore. Troubleshooting technical issues are a nightmare. I just want to eat popcorn and drink soda for free. I didn't sign for this.
Hi. It's us again. What other movies
Wage
are playing
Cook
today?
the movie.
It's on the screen, just in front of you.
The Backrooms are playing soon. It seems amazing. What is it about?
All information is on our website. You have the summary and the ratings.
Sorry, we do not have time for this.
Yep.
Can you please explain?
No. Other clients are waiting. Please make a choice.
What's happening?
This disrespectful employee is refusing to give us information about the movies playing here.
This is the second time today. I will have a conversation with employee number 3107 right now.
Wow. Sad but true. Probably is like this. I don't think that they're crying all day. But yeah. Just take it out on the employee. They're the ones that are doing the wrong thing, right?
The worst part of this job, cleaning people's trash. They don't care about anything after they've watched their movie. It's just pathetic.
The trash is worse than the toilets? I don't know about that.
Sorry.
My coffee fell on the ground.
Pay attention next time. I just cleaned everything.
Oh!
Here you are. Here is your popcorn and soda.
Sorry, I asked for popcorn with salt. And a medium soda, not a large.
But you just told me you wanted a popcorn with salt 2 minutes ago. Give me 1 second. Here you are. A medium sugar popcorn.
I told you I wanted a small. This one has 2 million calories. Are you kidding me?
What's up, mate?
What's up? Rough day.
Yes, I had to clean yet another time. People really don't care, and the day is even more complicated since I just lost my wage to a shit coin this morning.
Here is my ticket.
Room 6. This direction. Thank you.
Could you please show me where it actually is? I'm always lost here.
Oh
Sure.
my god.
Let's go.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to the great show.
It's here. Right now you have 15 minutes of commercials, and then the movie will begin.
Thank you very much. Could you show me the toilets as well?
Oh my
I
god.
don't remember where it is.
Sure.
Hi.
Hello. Ticket, please.
I don't have any.
If you don't have a ticket, you will need to buy one. You can purchase one at the... Wait, what are you doing? Come back here. Stop. You have to pay your ticket. I'm calling the police.
I don't care, dude. You can't stop me.
What's up, boss?
Oh my
My
god.
day is finished.
You better be early tomorrow. I still have a lot of work for you to finish.
Wow.
You will be starting off with the toilets. And after that you will clean the popcorn machines.
Hi.
Huh.
Hello. Can I please take your order?
Wendy's.
Sure. I want a big bacon classic with fries and ketchup. For the drink I will just take some water. Thanks.
Excuse me. Can you repeat, please?
I said I want a big bacon classic.
Sorry. We don't have any more. Please order something else.
He went home and he ate more cereal. Wow.
Welcome to the great show.
Wow. Sad and depressing. that whole channel's like that, right? The whole channel's supposed to be like sad and depressing, like the life of retail employees or service industry employees, right? Okay.
All right. I review a lot of products, right? I've talked about hundreds, maybe thousands of products at this point. But as many videos as I've made about products, there are way more products out there in the world that exist. So the process of selecting which products to even review in the first place is like an art form to itself. Most products are just meh. They're fine. Like they exist, they get made, they're fine, whatever. So they have to reach a certain level of interest or being really good to even be considered for a review, or sometimes really, really bad. So there's been a lot of interesting discourse lately on this topic. There will be, some negative reviews, and then a company will eventually go out of business, and then the internet poses the question, do bad reviews kill companies? Do bad reviews kill companies? Or do bad products kill companies? I do have a lot of thoughts. So two of the biggest examples that have been pointed to, especially on Twitter, were the Fisker...
I was going to say I know this guy because I saw his video on the latest Apple AR, VR headset, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it was called. Apple Vision Pro or whatever. His video got insane attention for it. Basically saying it's not awful, but man, is it stupid. Like he showed a lot of features and things that it's not even how they advertise it. And so I think this guy his product reviews are huge.
Review that I did, and the Humane AI pin from a couple days ago. So the Fisker saga was pretty well documented, but in case you missed it, I reviewed a car, I had a pretty horrible experience with it, documented it, published the review on the autofocus channel, and then a few months later, the entire company appears to be on life support, like likely filing for bankruptcy soon, And now this startup, Humane, you know, they dropped their first product, this pin. I review it, it's not super positive. A lot of people are saying the same thing. And I don't even think Humane is going anywhere, by the way. But I think there is some pretty simple logic we can use to decipher what the real danger is to these companies, which is, do you still get a bunch of negative reviews and then die as a company if the product is actually really good? But you know, let's back up for a second. What is a review? A little pet peeve of mine is I think people misuse or overuse that word a lot, but a review is just somebody uses a product and then just delivers their impressions on whether they think it's any good or not, how well it actually worked, and if their honest opinion is if it's good, then that's the review. If it's bad, that's the review. That's basically it. And so I've been an advocate of good independent reviews for what feels like forever now. But the thing about reviews is if they're not honest, then they're basically useless. I really strongly feel like everything that comes from a review, all the consequences and everything that comes around it, everything in the world of an ecosystem of reviews, depends on the review being truthful and actually honest about things.
What's the point? What's the point of watching a review if it's not truthful? Which is the problem with a lot of things out today, where you hear your favorite YouTuber, your favorite streamer, or your favorite influencer talking about something, but then you find out later on that it's a campaign, that they're being paid to play a game or paid to talk about a product, in which case it's not a review, it's a product placement, right? So, right, you have to be honest in your review or else the review might as well not even exist.
I'll just give an example. I've told this story before, but years ago, I remember I reviewed the first Razer phone when it came out. So Razer, gaming company, they make lots of stuff. They're getting into smartphones for the first time, so they made a phone that appeals to the same target demographic of gamers. So, you know, it had a bunch of upsides and downsides. Obviously, gaming-focused features, so it's got like front-facing speakers and a high refresh rate. The battery was pretty big, but also the camera was weak. And I remember the vibration motor was horrible. And I remember calling it out. I remember saying this.
Also, the vibration motor in this phone, trash. Straight trash. I'm gonna calm myself so you can hear this.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's terrible. It rattles around.
It sounds broken.
Yeah.
But it sounded that way out the box since day one. So that is the Razer phone.
Just one of the worst vibration motors I've ever experienced in a new phone. So, okay, fast forward a year, right? I'm at a briefing. It's in New York City. It's for the Razer Phone 2. And so they're walking me and some other people through this new phone they've made, and they've got a bunch of changes. It's got a glossy back. They added wireless charging now. The logo glows, and like the speakers are better and all this stuff. And they're talking us through it. And then the guy turns to me and he says, "And Marquez, you got to try the new vibration motor in this phone." And it's such a niche thing, but sure enough, I try it, and it's way better. And that's, to me, that's a big part of what reviews are all about. That honest feedback turned into actually action for the company.
A true review that's well-intentioned and well done should have the intention of explaining what the shortcomings of a product have, or game, or whatever, so that there could be improvement. If the purpose of your review is to kiss butt, to make money for yourself, or on the flip side of that, if the purpose of your review is to hurt the product, to make a sensationalist video, this is the worst thing ever, but it really isn't, but you do that for clickbait, then those are both equally bad. They are, because one can hurt, one can help, but they're equally bad. A true review should be well-intentioned, that you want improvement. You're only not doing it to slam, you're doing it because you truly wanted the best for whatever that product was, right? But I think that's the problem with a lot of reviewers these days. They're now sensationalist people who are just out to get clickbait views, and so it makes the review kind of, so over the top, you don't know if you could trust it or not, right?
To make it better. So people who bought the first one knew what they were getting into, and people who bought the second one actually benefited from that.
That's right.
So that's number
great.
one. Honesty, obviously, super important. But the second thing is these reviews are also definitely for the people that are watching them and consuming them. So you've probably been in the situation when you're about to buy something and you just want to double check. So you hop on YouTube, you search it up, watch a couple videos about the product just to make sure you're not missing anything. and then you either decide on the moment or later that day, like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to buy it. We've all been there. That's the reason, that's exactly how this YouTube channel started. Like, my first ever tech video,
look at this one.
was
15
reviewing
years
a
ago.
laptop, but specifically, I bought the laptop with my allowance money in high school, and I found a Windows Media Center remote in the PCI slot that wasn't in any of the other reviews. So the first thing I decided to do was talk through it in a video so that anyone else who bought the laptop after me would know about it. So you're thinking about buying the thing, you watch a couple reviews of the thing, you learn everything you need to know, boom, success. But here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I do have a bit of an extra dimension on my hands with these videos because I know that there's no way that every single person watching a review of every single product is one of those people who was considering buying it. I get that comment actually in person all the time. I watch the reviews even though I'm not buying any of this stuff. So I know that a lot of people, in fact, most people watching these videos are actually just here to watch an interesting, informative, good video in general, an entertaining video. And so the way that I satisfy those things is much more subjective, I think. Like, everyone has a different way they do it, everyone has a different target demographic, but that's a little bit of a new dimension. So then I think if we go back to the original question, so can a video kill a company? I'll use the Humane and Fisker examples specifically. The Fisker Ocean was a terrible car. It is a terrible car. I've reviewed about 40, 50 different cars in the past few years, made videos about many of them. This is the first one where I genuinely couldn't wait to be done driving it. Like, it just had tons of problems, bugs, missing features, safety issues. Like, it's just bad, right? So I review the thing. I give people what I feel is a fair assessment that also doubles as a warning not to buy this bad car. So hopefully it's entertaining and informative to the majority of people who weren't thinking about buying the car, but also that it is as honest as possible with the people who are. And maybe a week or two later, the company's stock price is plummeting to an all-time low, and they appear to be like filing for bankruptcy. Cue the internet going nuts, which I guess I get it. Like, obviously it makes a nice headline, like, oh, this review came out and it killed this company.
Yeah, but so what? His review was truthful. He didn't over-exaggerate. He didn't lie. Who cares? Products are meant to be used by end users, and if there's a review that is honest and says the end user will have a bad experience, then that's fine. Even if his review killed the company, what's wrong with that if it was a truthful review? Nothing. Nothing at all. So where's the issue? If he had over-exaggerated or made shit up to sensationalize, to make money for himself, that's one thing. I don't get how, because this guy who's a big reviewer reviewed it negatively because the product sucked, that's why. Where's the story? Did they blame him and say, oh, it's his fault? Should he have lied? Should he have sugarcoated? Should he have not reviewed the product or only talked about half the issues? I don't even understand. Like, where did he go wrong? Why are people criticizing him?
You bankrupted all of Fisker, maybe. Like, there was a whole Morning Brew thread on how Fisker handled this video so poorly that they're now going to go bankrupt because of it. Also, there were whole stock investments themed channels saying this was like a paid, promoted attack against the Fisker stock price. Like, it got pretty crazy. But did one review kill the entire company? I would say, to zoom out a bit, I think it's important to zoom out a bit, actually. First of all, I was not the only one to review the car, not even close. And so yes, the stock price did drop after my video, but the stock was in free fall for many, many months before my video too. And if you zoom out on YouTube or in the car review space in general, I was far from the only person saying these things about the car for all of these months. Many other reviewers had been having a plethora of issues, even stuff that I didn't have with this thing. I feel like that might be the easiest way to tell if a review is honest or not. Like, we're all reviewing the same product basically.
That's messed up. Why are they I don't get why they blamed him. I really don't. Like, I don't understand how he took the brunt of the blame for the company tanking if he's not the only person who reviewed it, and if they were already having issues before. Like, doesn't make any sense at all, does it? I'm I'm literally at a big loss here. And the thing is, like, he has another example that he wants to give of the other thing, and I want to hear that, but actually we need to split the part. So I'm going to do something I rarely do on this show. I'm actually going to continue to watch this video in the next part. Okay? I almost never do that. But I'm fascinated by it because, you know, I used to review stuff. I used to review games all the time. I don't think I was ever blamed for the tanking of any game. But then again, I wasn't as big as this guy having millions of views on every video I put out. So I'm very fascinated about this other product and if they're blaming that on him too or why. So, but anyway, thank you for watching. Let's split the part. I'll see you in part 4 where we'll continue with this video and finish up the Ultra members and get to the standard member submissions. See you then.